Welcome back to All Things 80s and welcome to Christmas 1982. So in 1982, the number one toy that year wasn't really a toy, it was the BMX bike. And I gotta say, the BMX bike for me is probably one of the greatest things ever to come out of the 80s. Now, I didn't get a BMX bike for Christmas in 82. I was very lucky that I did get my BMX prior to Christmas. And in the 80s, I had a grand total of two BMXs. The first one came from Halfords, and it was the Halfords Turbo 20X. And when I cycled that one into the ground, I then got a Rally Super Tough Burner 2 or Super Tough 2 Burner. Can't remember. It was the gold and black one. Always dreamed of getting a Rally Team Burner or a Skyway BMX, but it wasn't to be. But I think the reason the BMX bike was so popular that year was because of the movie E.T. And the BMX, of course, played a pretty huge part in that movie with that iconic scene with the moon as the backdrop. So, all in all, I think if you were a very lucky kid in 82, you would have been waking up on Christmas morning to a big, beautiful BMX bike under the tree. So maybe you weren't into BMX, or maybe you had a BMX. Let's see what else there was on offer for Christmas back in 1982. So, as always, starting with the video game consoles, again, pretty much the same as they were as we met forward in 83. The handheld video games were always excellent. Even the electronic games such as Simon were pretty cool, and of course, who didn't want Big Track? That was a fantastic toy. Snooker tables, board games, all pretty sort of standard fare. The Lego, the classic space Lego was a huge, huge favorite of mine. Skeletrix style racing track car games were fantastic. Bit of Evel Knievel. Fisher Price did some cool space stuff. Star Wars wasn't that big of a deal apparently, not very much on offer this year. Bit of Action Man, and of course you will notice that there were no other big franchises at this time. The infant toys are much of a much. Fisher Price Adventure People were great, Barbie for the girls, and that was it. So in 82 there wasn't a great deal of variety on offer. Again, it may just have been that Argos didn't bring in stock a lot of Star Wars things, but as we could see there wasn't a great deal of Star Wars on offer from Argos, certainly. And this was prior to the other franchises like Masters of the Universe, Transformers, Action Force, etc. So those were the toys of 1982. Now, I remember Christmas 82 being a particularly good one. That was the year I got my snooker table. And obviously I would have been 8 years old. And to get a 6-foot snooker table was a huge, huge deal. And, you know, despite it being pretty small by professional standards, for an 8-year-old kid, this thing was huge. And I just couldn't believe I was able to play snooker at home. So aside from the snooker table, also a great year for electronic games for me, where I got Astro Wars, which I still have to this day, and Demon Driver. Demon Driver was a bit of a mixed bag. It was an electronic game, but it was very much a mechanical electronic game. It didn't involve a screen of any sorts, but it was a lot of fun, certainly. But Astro Wars was a fantastic tabletop video game. And as with the snooker table, I couldn't believe that I actually had a video game in my bedroom and was able to turn the lights out and play this game. It was a fantastic experience, and I think the reason I kept hold of that all these years was it just had such a big impact on me. I remember playing with Astro Wars for hours on end, and until I managed to get the maximum score, which was a big deal back then. So those were my memories of Christmas 1982. Christmas Day 1982, BBC One, kicked off at 8:40 a.m. with the all-new Pink Panther show, followed at 9 with Carols from Buckfast. Now, Buckfast Abbey. Is that where the booze that the Jakies drink comes from? Bucky, Buckfast. Is it tonic wine? I think possibly. I don't know. But I think in Glasgow, Scotland, all the bums and Jakies they love to drink Buckfast. Anyway, 9:45 Christmas parade. 10:35 Christmas morning service. 11:38 was weather with Michael Fish. 11:40 the raccoons on ice. 12:05 Mr. Quilp. It's a feature film starring Anthony Newley. Never heard of it. 2 o'clock was Top of the Pops. There's no listing of the artists, but we do have the presenters. So it was presented by Peter Powell, John Peel, Dave Lee Travis, Steve Wright, Andy Peebles, Richard Skinner, Tommy Vance, and Mike Smith. I remember all of those people. Excellent. Oh, very sexist. There were no female presenters. Anyway, 3 o'clock was the Queen's speech. 3:05 was International Velvet. In all the other episodes, the Queen got 15 minutes for her speech, but in 82 she only got 5 minutes. So International Velvet, feature film starring Tatum O'Neal. Never heard of it. 5:10, the news with Jan Leeming. And at 5:20, now then, Jim will fix it. It says, Dear Jim, please may I visit Ken Dodd's Jam Butty Mines. Sing with Val Doonican. Help Father Christmas pack his sack. Oh dear. Anyway, 6 o'clock, the Paul Daniels Magic Christmas Show. 6:55, Last of the Summer Wine. And the episode was All Maud Conned. Good show. And at 7:30, the Two Ronnies Christmas Show. Excellent stuff. And then we had at 8:15, the movie was Death on the Nile. I remember seeing that in primary 6. Don't know why. I remember for some reason the teacher was feeling a bit lazy, and rather than teach class, she decided to put this VHS tape on for us. Well, fair enough. 10:30 was the news. So 10:40 was Perry Como. 11:30 was The Signalman, which was a ghost story for Christmas by Charles Dickens. midnight was Christmas Night with the Spinners, which I mentioned last time. The Spinners were a 4-piece male vocal group. And at 20 to 1 in the morning, we had the weather. And then that was the BBC finished for the day. Top 10 singles, Christmas 1982. So at number 10, we had Beat Surrender from The Jam. Number 9, Truly from Lionel Richie. Number 8 were The Best Years of Our Lives by Modern Romance. Don't remember them. Number 7 was A Winter's Tale from David Essex. I remember him. Number 6, You Can't Hurry Love was Phil Collins. Number 5, Our House from Madness. 4, Time from Culture Club. Number 3, Peace on Earth, Little Drummer Boy, which was David Bowie and Bing Crosby. Number 2 was the Shakin' Stevens EP from obviously Shakin' Stevens. And number 1 at Christmas in 1982 was Save Your Love by Renee and Renato. I actually remember this song, and it was a truly weird, borderline novelty song, which was typical British at the time. So again, a pretty dismal showing for Christmas tunes. Obviously we had David Bowie and Bing Crosby, and I think A Winter's Tale from David Essex might be Christmassy, certainly wintry obviously. But anyway, that was the top 10 Christmas 1982. So the Christmas comics and magazines of 1982, starting with the Dandy, which was titled The Comic Christmas Capers Inside, and it was only 10p back then, and the cover is Corky the cat driving a snowplow. Very good. The Beano this time called The Christmas Beano, and Dennis the Menace was going out looking for a gift for his father, and he bought him a pair of old boots and told him he could use them as flower pots. You know, classic Beano stuff. And finally, Smash Hits, a pretty weird cover here with the singer of Dex's Midnight Runners front and center. It does say free Christmas record, 12 minutes of festive fun. And obviously back in those days, we used to get free vinyl singles with these magazines sometimes. Wonderful time. Also in this edition was ABBA, The Human League, Whitesnake, Soft Cell, Yazoo, and Shalamar. Aside from the word Christmas with the free record, and I guess a bit of green and red, not particularly festive, but those were the comics magazines of 1982. What do you get if you cross Santa with a duck? A Christmas quacker. So anyway, thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Special thanks to the Patreons. Please do like, please subscribe. Stay tuned for more videos from All Things 80s, and see you tomorrow where we look at Christmas 1981.